So explain the clean fast.
All right, so we just talked about insulin, wanting to keep our insulin low. So when we're in the fasted state, there are 3 fasting goals, and I have these explained in detail in Fast, Feast, Repeat, which is my book that came out in 2020. So the first fasting goal is to keep our insulin low, so we can tap into our fat stores effectively. We don't want to be in storage mode. We want to be in fat burning mode. And so you don't want to take in anything that your brain thinks is going to have calories. So if it tastes like food, or if it tastes sweet, then your brain's like, oh, here it comes. Because in nature, everything that was sweet was something like sugar or honey or fruit. And so our body knew that we were about to have a glucose load coming in, so we needed more insulin to manage that. That's how it works behind the scenes. We can't control it. It just happens in the brain. So we don't want to take in anything that's sweet or has a food-like flavor. So our second fasting goal is we want to tap into our stored fat for fuel. So we avoid taking in any sources of fat during the fast. We don't want to to put butter in our coffee, for example, because there's a train of thought out there, well, if you put MCT oil or butter in your coffee, it's not going to create an insulin response. Although that may or may not be true. It's a smaller insulin response than, say, a Diet Coke or an actual Coke, but you're still going to have some sort of anticipatory, response going on in your body. But if we want to tap into our stored fat for fuel, we don't want to be taking in sources of energy. Also don't want to take in, like exogenous ketones, although I haven't really heard much of that lately. That was all the rage for a while. Everybody's like, can I drink ketones? We're like, no, please don't. Let your body make them for free from your own stored body fat. So our third fasting goal is we want to have increased autophagy. Autophagy is our body's amazing self-cleaning mechanism. And again, we had not heard that word. In the early days of intermittent fasting, we didn't know what that was. And then suddenly in 2016, the Nobel Prize for Medicine was awarded based on the concept of autophagy, our body's self-cleaning mechanism. It's kind of like, our recycling and upcycling system. Our body can work on old junky things like old junky proteins and recycle them if there's nothing coming in. So in order to make sure that we're experiencing increased autophagy, we want to avoid taking in any sources of protein during the fast. I mean, obviously you wouldn't eat a cheeseburger and think you're fasting, but for some reason people think, I'm going to drink some bone broth and that must be fasting because it's so low calorie. Well, it's also packed full of protein. So you don't want to take in anything like that. So to stick to the clean fast, stick to plain water, nothing added for flavor, just plain water, or black coffee or plain tea. Don't add any, lemon slices or fruity things or creamers or anything like that. Even if it's, nut creamer, don't add anything like that. You just want it to be black coffee, plain tea. Also avoid the fancy herbal teas that have food flavor, like apple cinnamon delight. Your brain's going to be like, ooh, this is delicious. And so it's going to have that, oh, food's coming in kind of response. The reason that black coffee and plain tea are okay, and we avoid all other flavors, is because a bitter flavor profile is not associated with an insulin response.